Hey guys, it's Jessica Hayes. So a lot of you have been requesting a tutorial for this brown smoky eye that I wore in my Kat Von D Studded Kiss lipstick swatch video. This is a super easy look that is pretty much suitable for every single occasion ever. Very wearable. So if you want to learn how to create this brown smoky eye look, then keep watching. So I'm starting with my base already done. I have the Stellar foundation on and the Tarte Shape Tape concealer. So I'm going to start by priming the eyes with this e.l.f. eyelid primer. Really like this primer. It's super cheap and does the job. Just going to pat it all over the lids. After you've patted on the lids, just pat it up the brow bone as well. You don't want to have a stop-start section with your primer because otherwise your shadows will grab to that area. So for this look, I'm going to be using the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. I do realize that I have been using a lot of Kat Von D on my channel lately, but it's because I used all Kat Von D products in my Kat Von D Studded Kiss lip swatch video and you guys all wanted the makeups that I had done from that. So that is why. But this is an amazing classic palette and I'm pretty sure most of you already have this palette, and if you don't have this palette already, it's definitely a must-have. So the way that this palette works, and I did not know until someone explained to me, is it works in like little quads like that. So that's your warm quad, this in the middle is your cool quad, and this on the end is your neutral quad. You can use it like that. I often don't, but for some people that so many colors, it gets a little bit confusing. That's kind of how you can work this palette. For me, what I'm going to start doing is by using this one all over the lid and up a little bit into the crease. So this is the Furless Cosmetics Pro 2E brush. And I really like this brush because it's a little bit fluffy and it's also like a flat shader brush as well. So if I am just doing something on the lid that I also want to blend and I don't want to use two brushes, this is usually the brush that I'll grab. So anytime when you're trying to build color, you are using a pressing, patting motion to build color. So often I will just use this color all over my lid and a little bit smudged underneath the eye, just for an easy daytime look. I am just gonna lightly take the edge of that brush and just blend the crease just a little bit. So you can really use any of the darker shades, like this one, this one, this one for this look, depending on whether you want a neutral look, a warm look, a cool look. I'm gonna go for this one right here, the middle one in the neutral side. I'm just gonna use my favorite brush ever, the Cosette 185, and I'm gonna start by popping that into the crease of the eye. Right now I'm almost using like a patting motion to build that color up first. And then I'll get a little more on my brush and just use the fluff of the brush to start blending that into the crease of the eye. Next I'm gonna grab this OCC brush because it's a little smaller and it has a little kind of point on the tip of it. Grab this reddish toned brown just on the very tip of this brush. If you didn't want a red tone to this look, you could use any of the other neutral colors for this. And I'm just gonna use that to blend that darker color into the crease and add a little bit of warmth because you all know that I like warmth. I'm just taking this through as kind of like a swiping motion through the crease of the eye, just letting my bone structure do the work for me, just pushing that brush in and swiping back and forth. Now I'm going to take a bigger, fluffier brush. This is the Delium Tools 785, and I'm just going to use a little mixture of this peachy color and this lighter color right here. You can use a straight up peach if you have a little more of a tan skin tone. And then I'm going to use that brush in little circular motions to blend that blend into the skin. A big fluffy brush is best for this step of the eye. Just by default, I usually always take my shape a little more of an almond shape just because I feel like this suits my eyes the most. I'm just going to go ahead and just lightly buff the edges of that blend out with my foundation brush. Just very lightly. I'm not trying to create a line. That is definitely not what this look is about. You want everything diffused. Next, I'm going to take the Pretty Vulgar Yours Truly eyeliner pencil. And this is a dark chocolatey brown. You can use black if you want to be more dramatic. I'm just gonna line the waterline very heavily. And then I'm also gonna pull that back down into the lash line as well. I'm just gonna use the tip of this corsette brush just to blend so it's not too much of a line. And I'm also just gonna do one eye at a time, because if I was to go and do the other eye and then go back and try to blend it out with a brush, sometimes pencils set and then you can no longer smudge them anymore. Don't forget to get that little gap in between your waterline and your lashes too. So now I'm gonna go back with my little corsette 185 brush and the darker color that we used right here and just set that. I'm gonna use little patting motions with that at first. Wipe that brush off a little bit, and then I'm going to go back to this original color that we started off with on the tip of that brush and then just buff out the lower lash line. I'm gonna take the tip of that OCC fluff brush, whatever's left on it, and just run that along the lower lash line as well, just for an extra little bit of fluff and blend. Back to the corsette brush, and now I'm just gonna join this lower lash line into the inner crease just by darkening this a little bit. So I'm going to take this color right here just because it's a little darker than this and just deepen that up a little bit. See where that little gap was kind of missing? We're just gonna make that flow into each other a little more. So start by pressing the color on with the brush, and then you'll use just little blending motions. This side's a little more obvious. See that little flick in there? We're just gonna try to join that all together. This little section here, see how it's not blending seamlessly? Just kind of grab your foundation brush and just stipple it just right at the edge of where that area is. And usually the most flattering way to shape the eye is to follow this bottom lash line in the direction. If it was to keep going, follow it up like that. If you do clean it up a little too much, just go back in with that OCC fluff and just give the edges just a little tickle with that brush. No product on it. Just going in with a little bit of that light orange color, and I'll just buff underneath the eyes. Just gonna go back in with my concealer brush that I was using from before with my Tarte Shape Tape, whatever's still left on it. I'm just gonna pat that under the eye just to make sure it's nice and clean and bright under there. Even though we are doing this really smoky, grungy lower lash line, and it does kind of cover up your dark circles, you just wanna make sure whatever you're doing under this area here just looks nice and clean, so it doesn't look grungy in a bad way. Next, I'm going to curl my lashes and add the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I don't really need falsies right now because I've been using my lash serum every single night, and as you'll see, it makes my lashes grow nice and long. I'm gonna take Urban Decay Troublemaker for my lower lashes because Too Faced smudges on the lower lashes. This does not. I'm back to being obsessed with this Fenty Beauty Amber contour stick. So I'm just gonna use that by doing it the way that you're not supposed to, by drawing it on your cheeks. The proper way would be to buff it onto a brush first and then apply it like that. But sometimes you just want quick and easy convenience, and it is what it is. So I usually just use this little BH Cosmetics No. 4 brush to do it, and then I will buff it out with my foundation brush that I was using before, and this is the BH Cosmetics 116 brush. So I just kind of buff the edge of the line out just to make sure it doesn't just, you know. So I'm kind of just using a blending down motion. It's not because I want my contour to go down, it's just I don't want to swipe it like that and it to become a harsh line. I'm just kind of using the edge of that brush just to diffuse any lines going on. I'm gonna take this little orangey color from the palette. I love this as a blush. I also love this one as a contour as well. And I'm just gonna buff that lightly onto the apples of the cheeks. This is the BH Cosmetics number 3 brush. I'm gonna show you my favorite highlighting regime right now, and that is using these two guys from Ofra. This is Pillow Talk and Blissful Highlighter. There is a palette right now that has both of these in it. I'm not sure if it's still available because it was a Valentine's special, but you can also purchase them separately. So I'm gonna take Blissful as my mid-plane highlighter, and then I'm gonna use Pillow Talk a little closer to the top of the cheekbone. So I'm gonna use Blissful right here on that edge of the contour that we just did. And this is the Linda Hallberg 306 brush. And Blissful's enough just as it is, but if you want to amp it up a little bit, other side of the brush, grab a little bit of Pillow Talk, which is a lot lighter. And then I'm going to use that closer to the top of the cheekbone, just softly, and blend that into the Blissful highlighter. So Blissful's going on your mid-cheek plane right here. Sometimes Blissful, when I use it up a little higher, because it is a little darker than my skin tone, you can see it a lot. So that's why I like these deeper highlights as a mid-plane highlight. So it's almost where you would apply blush if you were just doing blush without contour. You can even take just a little mixture and just lightly buff it into the brow bone, ever so slightly. Ooh, yeah. Grab that concealer brush and I'm just gonna go underneath the eye right here and just pat that in. Sometimes I accidentally get my highlighter right under here, and that's where I have little fine lines, and highlighter is gonna highlight fine lines. Who would have thought? So I just like to pat that in just with whatever concealer residue is left there, just to make sure that the highlighter is not highlighting what I don't want to be highlighted. If you're lucky enough to not have fine lines in that area, you can skip that step. Now for a lip for this, you can do so much. It's a brown smoky eye, so it pretty much goes with everything. Sometimes I like doing just like a monochromatic look, so like a dark brown color as well. I think I'm actually gonna pull out my Tarte Tarte's lip paints because I haven't used those for a long time, and I just realized that they're vegan. So I pulled out all of these colors. This is Grunge, Crop Top, Brownie, and Fortune. I think I'm gonna use Fortune. Yeah, a nice like chocolatey kind of brown. I do have a lip swatch video for these on my channel that I did a while ago as well, if you are interested in checking it out. I really like this formula. Putting eyeliner in my waterline always makes my nose run. It's so weird. So I accidentally overdrew my lips a little bit, and that usually happens as a result of trying to get my Cupid's bow even. One of my sides is higher than the other, and sometimes they're just not even, and that's cool. I'm cool with that. I'm gonna take this Nabla Cosmetics Brow Divine Pencil, and literally I use whatever color I have in front of me. This is the color Neptune, and I'm just gonna darken my little moles that I have on my face just a little bit. Might even just turn this pimp that I've been too lazy to cover into a little mole. Just kind of press it and twist it in. There we go. No one even knows I have a pimp. Finish off with the tiniest little tiny dot of this Shape Tape concealer. This stuff, a little goes a long way. So when people do all of those massive big swipes under their eyes, I'm just like, holy, how are you gonna blend all of that out? I don't want concealer over my whole face. And a little bit of the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder, and just lightly set down the center of the face. Just a soft little tap right there. Usually when I set my face with powder, I'm going to use the Kat Von D Lock-It Spray. This is more of a hydrating setting spray, so if I haven't set my face with powder, I'm definitely not going to use this because it's just going to make me even more oily. If you are really dry, this is a great setting mist. And if you're oily, the Urban Decay D-Slick Spray is an amazing setting mist as well. Give the hair a little zhuzh. There you have it, guys. That is a brown smoky eye. I actually don't think that I've ever done a brown smoky eye on my channel before. This is a really easy look that pretty much goes with everything as well, and I feel like if you were to not smoke out the underneath a lot as well, it's a pretty appropriate look to wear maybe for work if you like smoky eyes during the daytime, to a wedding for sure. And like I was saying, it is a look that pretty much goes with any lip color as well. It looks great with a nude color, it looks great with gloss, browns, obviously. It looks great with a red lipstick as well. This is one of my favorite looks to wear when I'm going out somewhere fancy. Brown smoky eye, red lipstick. It's pretty classic. So I hope you enjoyed this different, but not really different because I've never filmed it before, brown smoky eye look. If you found this helpful, it's helpful to me if you give the video a thumbs up, and that's cool. I never know what to say in this part. I usually edit out so much stupid shit that I say, but yeah, see you guys. Thanks for watching.